What's up, FireTech fam? I'm Sam from High-Vis with Lee Dog.
Hey.
We're here in front of two different trucks that have two different lighting systems on them, and we're going to talk today a little bit about retrofits and how this sort of stuff can be applied on a vehicle, regardless of age or style in your fleet. So you want to tell us a little bit about how, first of all, what is this fire truck? Why do you own this thing? And second, how do we get a lighting system on it?
So shout out to Taylor's Tins. Thank you very much. The history of this truck, there's a long history, but this is Clifford. This is my own personal fire truck. And a few interesting things about it. When I first got it, it had all strobe lights with strobe packs, and none of them worked. So I had an option to put on some of our retrofit lights that we had in stock, B stock, and so I decided to use those. And the interesting thing about it was I was able to skip the strobe pack, so not have that voltage amplification, and I was able to use the existing wires and basically put these on.
It's cool when you think about lighting systems on fire trucks. They're like, the modern trend are these smart lighting systems, which are on this truck behind me. But the historic way of doing things were these centrally controlled strobe tubes. And in between those two technologies, this was, what year is that, like 1990?
Yeah, this is 1987.
So like in the late 80s through mid 90s, probably even early 2000s, there were a different style of electrical system that had home runs back to these central controls. And then from that point to maybe really now the modern era, the lights just had power whenever the switch was turned on.
Right.
And so there's like different ways you approach retrofits. On an old school truck, you can do smart lighting systems or you can do traditional lighting systems, but ultimately there's not usually like sync wires run and the kind of the modern stuff that people need to have the trucks look the way that the trends are.
Yeah, in this case, you'll notice none of these are synced or anything. They're just on, they get power through their traditional circuits. And it was just, it was done in a weekend.
Yeah, you just basically bypass the strobe box and give them power when the switch is on.
Yep, and that was it.
That's super simple.
Yeah.
So on this truck behind me, it's a little bit different tech because you go from having a thing you got to bypass to like, this truck has an electrical multiplex system on it that comes from the factory. And this particular one's an E1, but it could be a Pierce or a Seagrave or Sutphin or Rosenbauer or anybody. It really doesn't matter the brand. If the truck has an electrical multiplex system on it and that multiplex system has a CAN backbone, the High-Vis Connect lighting system is designed to attach directly to the fire truck and allow you to get some of the smart features that you could get in a modern lighting system without having to run all new cables and conductors. And from a practical standpoint, whether it's old school, which is kind of just flashing, unsynchronized flashes are sometimes trendy in the fire space. And there's an argument to be made that having lots of synchronization doesn't necessarily help attract attention because it just looks kind of like it blends in. I don't know that that's true or not, but some guys argue that to be the case. And with a modern system like this, you've got intelligent control, responding day, responding night, on-scene day, on-scene night. You can have ramping modes and soft pattern modes. And this is a little bit more complex to install. It took, I don't know, this is probably 2 days for an EVT to go through and run a CAN backbone or reuse existing CAN backbone, bolt the lights on, do some of the program updates versus super simple, fast to install, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, right behind you, you have a ramping mode, which obviously this doesn't have the opportunity to have. So this is a super cool option, especially when we get into this trendy time frame where we have ramping modes on scene. It relaxes the scene, and people, it's just easier to look at, and so it's definitely neat. I didn't have obviously this truck doesn't have a CAN backbone at all.
Exactly.
So this was the easier way to do it, but this one did have that, and this is a 2009, I believe, or 2010. Yeah. So that time frame, this was fairly easy to install with the existing wires. So.
When you think about laying out a rig, if you've got a rig in your fire station and you're trying to figure out, can I put a smart lighting system on it or can I do any kind of upgrade on it? The answer is yes. And it really just boils down to two things. One, are you going to install it yourself? And if you're going to install it yourself, you really want to boil it down to like what's simple. And doing a traditional lighting system does not mean you don't get a ton of light. You don't get a ton of feature. If you want to add some pizzazz to a simple electrical system, you can actually have a couple modes in the traditional lights. Yeah. And it just takes a little bit more integration to attach. If you want to go with something a little more sophisticated, like this sort of system, it's not impossible to do. You can even break it into stages. You could do like an Omen light bar with traditional lighting tech around the body. That's super simple to install. It's firefighter friendly. You don't need a degree or an EVT certification to make that happen. Or you could go all old school. This rig's still got a traditional light bar on it. And it's got another old school traditional light bar coming.
Very excited about that.
Extremely sick. Or you could go with a full system like this, which are smart perimeter lights and a smart High-Vis Connect Omen warning light bar. It's really totally up to you.
And Sam, it's interesting to note when you are going to use an Omen by itself and use the existing wiring for everything else, the Omen does install without the use of a CAN backbone at all. So you don't need that on the truck. So Clifford, for example, could have an Omen on it, very easy to install. And so that is an option there.
Yeah, all it needs is power, ground, park brake, and E-Master.
Yeah.
I mean, if you give it those things, then you're good to go. And I don't know if Clifford has a park interlock.
It doesn't have it on this truck, no.
So if you had a truck like this, there are a couple ways that you could actually attach it. You could either put an air pressure switch on the brake lines, or you could add you could put it into night mode all the time, or choose a color other than white while responding. And it will automatically choose day and night by itself, but the park interlock is something that, depending on the age of your truck, you can configure in the software settings on how it attaches to the vehicle.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't have the ability to attach, it's not a problem. There are some advisory ways we can help you configure it so that it still meets all the modern NFPA compliance and helps you get your job done after dark.
Yep.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. If you want more information about High-Vis Connect or traditional lighting systems, the story behind Clifford, which is a really good one, or some help supporting your fire department figuring out lighting systems for your rigs, reach out to the FireTech team. Lee is our applications engineer. He's an EVT and a competent guy when it comes to lighting systems on fire trucks.
Thank you very much.
I love these things, and I can sometimes help out, or any of the FireTech team members are more than happy to spend time learning about your application and making a recommendation.
Yeah.
Check us out online at highvisleds.com. Follow us on social. We'll see you later.